I just want to play this video for you guys. This is out of the Bay Area. This is the CBS News story. I want to give you zero context.
I see inviting people like you to my restaurant as inviting my guests and into my home. I expect people to treat that with the respect that visiting someone's home would entail. There's a child lying there getting changed, getting their diapers changed, right next to another customer who looked.
Ew.
The sight and smell.
Ew, what the fuck?
At night, but it was just one of several incidents Shui paid the price for.
It's not about that $5 broken teacup. It's about the fact that you came into here not respecting the rules. You let your child play around. They cause some sort of damage. You should be directly responsible. A lot of
So what's happening here is this guy is now fining people.
I've heard
their
about
out of
this.
control kids. Yes. The owner says that he's had enough of poorly behaved children in his restaurant. He's now fining the parents. He says one customer changed a dirty diaper next to another customer who was dining.
That is some third world ass behavior. I've had a lot of like people in my family give birth to children. And any time that they've needed to change their kid in public, they either go to their car and do it, or they go into the restroom if the restroom is like clean enough.
Yeah, and there's literally changing tables in the restroom for that exact reason. Yes.
This is just like a third world mentality. It doesn't even matter like what their skin color is. If you're changing a baby's diaper in a restaurant next to somebody eating, you are third world mentality. You are gross.
All right, but help me out here. How is he fining them?
Okay, I don't know, but
that can't be followed. I'd tell him to kiss my ass.
Well, like when he says fining, I think he was referring to the broken teacups. Like if you break a teacup, he's going to put the cost of the teacup on your ticket, which like I've been to a couple of restaurants in my area. Kowloon is a good example of it. Kowloon, they have like really special cups for some of their alcoholic drinks. And they'll like, they'll offer that you can buy them. But otherwise, if it's not on the table, they'll charge you for it. There was another like Japanese food restaurant I went to somewhere, I can't remember where, and there's like a cat mug that they have, like one of the lucky cats with the moving paws. And that cup isn't crazy expensive, but they put like a $90 charge on your bill for that cup until you leave, and they make sure the cup is on the table, and then they take that charge off.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense. It's like putting a deposit down. Let's see how he handles this here.
Responsible. A lot of people very quietly tell me that they support this policy because they don't want to be seen as nosy or like disruptive to other parents.
That's not the case for Jacqueline Grubb, who came to the restaurant for the first time after learning about the policy.
So when someone actually stands up and says something like this, it's admirable. And we need more of him throughout the United States being that way. And he can actually cook good food.
For example, this was a Chuck E. Cheese. We wouldn't have the same expectations, but I'm just letting people know, hey, maybe there was a misunderstanding. You can't blame the kids. You really can't blame the kids. Kids are kids.
Bingo. There it is.
There was an article going around a while ago that was like, somebody was complaining, or I guess people were complaining about having to hear children constantly crying at restaurants. And then everybody was jumping on the article like, oh, you should be fine with kids in public. And it's like, hold on. There's a difference between being fine with kids in public. Yes, you should be able to bring your kids to restaurants. Kids obviously very much belong in public spaces. But it's up to parents to be a parent. If your child is screaming at the top of their lungs in a restaurant and you're not taking them outside, that's on you. We shouldn't have to hear that. That's fucked up. That's not like a normal child sound, right? If you have like a toddler that's doing like the happy, like just happy toddler noises, that's fine. Nobody cares about that. But it's like if your child starts having a tantrum or they start crying, take them the fuck outside. Like, what is wrong with you?
See how that's the big thing. How do you? I guess this is one of those things you agree when you come in to the restaurant that this is part of you walking in.
I still want to know what these fines are because they have no legal right. I'm telling you, I would tell this man to shove it up his ass. I don't like this idea that someone can just you come here, I can fine you. Fine me for what?
Well,
disrupting the peace, having your child
go fuck himself.
I like that.
Too bad. If he can go fuck himself. You can't with what legal authority are you going to fine me?
Well, but you can
I think maybe not fine, it a fine, but it's not actually a fine. Like this,
Right,
this
right.
is arguing semantics, basically. Like he's calling it a fine, but it's not actually a fine. And for legal purposes, it's not a fine. But it's like if your kid comes in and breaks a teacup, he's gonna charge you for breaking that teacup.
Right,
I think that's perfectly fair.
Like if your kid smashed your credit card machine, you should be charged for that credit card machine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. How is your child smashing a credit card machine? Like, what the fuck are we even doing here?
Right. And the idea of a kid carving design, like how unruly is a kid going to be when they're
That's insane.
carving designs into a table? Like
I could
only
not
100
imagine doing that shit as a kid. Like, no way, dude. I didn't even get the belt, right? Like my dad was very reasonable. He would send me to timeout or like take away my video games, and I still behaved. Like, what the hell?
You really can't blame the kids. Kids are kids. Kids will be loud. Kids will cry. It's okay, but it's up to the parents to make the appropriate response.
It may seem bold in an industry where the customer is always right, but at the House of Shui, the hope is to put proper parenting back on the table.
Yes.
We're speaking on behalf of the customers who cannot say the unspoken, and we're speaking on behalf of restaurants who cannot put forth such a blunt and unpolished message to the public. We're just really we're happy to
think
start
about
a conversation.
like if somebody is putting like their poopy child on like the bench or the table that people are eating on and changing their poopy diaper, what if someone gets sick? That's his restaurant. He's going to be held liable.
Correct. Yeah. If someone's changing their diaper right next to their food, that's a big no-no. And like in that situation, the diner who is literally having a, literal poop next to them, they should be able to say something, be like, yo, dude, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The restaurant owner should be able to say, hey, time to go, right? It's time to go.
Yes,
You're no
absolutely.
longer welcome here, right? And charging people for broken things, I think is totally fine. Now, like I said, I don't know how this plays out as far as
legally. I'm seeing they can't. I mean, you'd have to prove that it wasn't accidental, because from what I'm seeing, that's my main issue here. Is like, who the hell are you to be? You're not a
You break
country,
it, you
my
buy
dude.
it has been like a retail policy for forever, though, Matt.
Yeah, that's true. If you walk into a some sort of store, you knock something off the shelf, you're paying for that.
Yep.
It's a pretty standard
100%
thing.
of the time.
Yeah. I don't, let's see. This is, by the way, their website is spectacular. This is the website for this restaurant. It may be just about as good as Lund Duke's right here. So, I'm curious to see if there's any sort of statement here or anything like that when it comes to, the actual rules of going in. But yeah, I mean, hey man, there we go. Look, they actually do have this on their website. Look at this. It's a family-friendly website or restaurant. However, we are not a playground. Please ensure children remain seated at all time and respectful of fellow guests in dining environment. Running around, shouting, making noises with utensils will not be tolerated. Guests not respecting this policy will be asked to leave. We will hold parents financially responsible or liable for all damage caused by their children to restaurant properties.
And I think that a lot of adults forget that they have to act differently depending on where they go to. So they probably don't teach their kids that as well. But like he said with Chuck E. Cheese, it would obviously be very different. And you act differently with a child when you bring them to a Chuck E. Cheese versus if you bring them to like a Smith and Walensky's, right? Not that I imagine many people are bringing kids to a restaurant like that, but if you do, that kid is going to be dressed nicely. They're going to be on their best behavior. If they start having a tantrum, you take them outside. That's how I always was raised to deal with children in public situations.
We had that from Bloopity Snooples came in and says, I would pay good money to watch an 11-year-old called Trumpy.
Yeah.
You N-word. Yeah, it'd be so funny.
Pally Dan came in with $20. Says, Phoenix, I had a kid attack her mom and push her into a shelf of board games and pulled them down and nearly broke the shelf. I yelled and the parents left me 1-star review for being rude to their child.
Yep.
People are terrible.
I agree. Humans are garbage. Agreed. But I just don't understand how it doesn't matter. We all agree on that. That's wonderful. That's great.
Well, no, but
I mean,
I think
that
it comes
just
down
gets
to,
into some terrifying territory. Your kid accidentally hits a glass over. Now you're charging me and you're fining me.
That's the way it's
Oh,
always
great
been.
Lord,
Like
Everett.
literally always. My brother's
I'm
even
reading
broken
that it's
stuff in
not.
stores.
Okay.
That's just how it's always been.
yeah, if you walk into an antique shop, you knock something over, you break it, you buy it is the thing. And on top of this, this is stated on their website, right? And I'm sure it's stated when you walk
Well,
in.
if I'm
going
to go with their legalese, that means I can break it without any problem. It's talking about children.
Well, it says
Again, I don't know what this is legal authority is because he wrote it on a website.
Yeah, but I think it's not really a legal authority. I think it's more of an expectation, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that some of these people can do exactly what you said and say F off. But and honestly, probably, really what it'll come down to is in a situation like this where someone breaks a credit card machine, it's $327. You take if they don't want to pay it, you take them to small claims court.
Yeah.
And that's where the legal aspect of it comes in because it's all on video. Everyone's got security cameras at this point, so yeah.
I think Phoenix's point here is basically intention. And then how do you prove intention? And then it just becomes a huge thing.
You don't need to prove intention. It doesn't matter if you break something on purpose in a shop or if you break something on accident, you're still going to have to pay for it. Which is why, like, when I handle very delicate things in someone's shop, I do it very delicately because I don't want to accidentally break it and then have to pay for something that is no longer functional because it is broken.
Yeah, it's he said it comes back to parenting. Always comes back to parents and kids.
Parenting sucks nowadays. I had the best experience. By best, I mean most sarcastic. I was at a 4th of July parade with my nephew, and I was pushing him on all those little bikes, right, with the little stroller thing. And he was sitting there. This little girl comes up to his face and starts waving at him. So he says hi to her, and she spits gum basically in his face. And her parents just laugh at her. And I'm like, oh my god, that was
What the
weird.
hell?
I pull him away because like this like little 3-4-year-old kid's like blah, and just spits gum in his face. I'm like, what are we doing? So parents.
Now, where I will criticize this restaurant is that at the top of the page, it said that this is a no tipping restaurant, but then they tell you in smaller text that they automatically add the tip onto your bill, especially for takeout. And I think tipping for takeout is a cuck kind of thing to do. Ain't no way, brother.
Dude, I'm with you on that. Like, you prepare my food, like that's literally what I'm paying for. It should be built into the cost of the food. Yeah.
Yep.